You're watching News Team. So Global Sports and Education Society, in partnership with former NBA player Tony Parker's Academy, conducted a two-day basketball workshop to promote basketball in India at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in New Delhi. David Rivers, former LA Lakers player in the NBA, who has played with the likes of Michael Jordan and Larry Bird, is here in the national capital to encourage budding basketball players and give them basic training of the sport. And the good thing is that children in huge numbers from across India came to participate in the camp. Well, Power Sports correspondent Lakshmikant Tiwari caught up with him in an exclusive chat to discuss on various issues. Let's listen in.
We are joined by former NBA champion who was a part of LA Lakers and another NBA team, and he was popular. He is popular in European club as well. Right now he retired, but he is in India to promote basketball. We are joined by the most decorated basketball player, David Rivers. Sir, welcome to Power Sports. Thanks for joining us. You are in India. You have done workshop with Indian basketball with Indian kids.
Well, the kids that I worked with this morning was fantastic. They showed desire, they showed energy, and they were excited to learn. It's very common wherever I go and work with kids. I found the same thing in the kids that I was working with today here in India. They have a passion and a desire to learn, and so I was very happy about that.
So, after this week, there is NBA India Games is coming, the most explosive basketball and popular league. NBA Games is coming, where Sacramento Kings and Indiana Pacers is going to play. So, how are you seeing this according to Indian basketball?
Well, I think it's going to be exciting. Having an NBA game here for the communities to see, I think is going to create excitement for perhaps young kids to want to go out and experience, basketball, and that's a very good thing.
Recently, basketball World Cup conducted, and Spain was the Spain crowned with the FIBA world champion. So, what are your views regarding that? And USA didn't come up with a strong team like LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, and they didn't able to come after the quarter final. They lost the quarter final. So, what's your views regarding that?
Well, I think that experience is an example of how much the international game has improved. There's no longer a very big gap between the international game and the U.S. game. Unfortunately, I think a lot of the U.S. players, if not all of them, they did not understand international competition. You had the same great coaching staff from previous years, but this year you had a lot of players with international experience being their first time. So I'm not surprised of the outcome. Spain was very strong. Australia played with energy. The Serbians always are very competitive. But Spain played with the most consistency, and they had great depth. But I think the problem with the U.S. team was their lack of international experience. But if those guys were to come back, I'm sure the outcome would be different.
So you played with NBA teams, you played with European team as well, Liga Endesa, and lots of European with European clubs. So what are the difference did you understand with NBA and European basketball?
Well, the biggest difference has always been the fundamental aspects of the game. The international players, they drill on the fundamentals, which are very, very important to success as a player. In the U.S., the game has always been geared around more athletic, speed, jumping ability, not so much shooting ability until lately. So that's always been the biggest difference. And now the international game is a very, very close competitor to the U.S. style of play.
So you talk about USA and NBA. NBA is doing fabulous job for Indian basketball. They are doing lots of workshop, coaching camp. So did you think that this these camps and this workshop is going to help Indian basketball in internationally?
Well, I know that the NBA has an interest in this market. Exactly what they're doing, I cannot speak to. But I know from my experience in traveling around the world and working with kids and international families, what kids need is the right information. They need the right commitment from coaches and leaders in the communities, and they need consistency. The kids need a long-term program. That's why I'm here with Global Edification Sports Foundation, my own organization, Global Sports and Education, in which we've partnered with the Tony Parker Adequat Academy. We are building a platform for kids to come and participate in our programs locally, but also have international opportunities for exposure. And not just give them exposure, but we want to embrace their dreams, because not every kid will be a professional athlete. So when it comes to the academic side, the educational side, the cultural experience, we want to deliver all of those things full circle. And should the kids here in India come to the Tony Parker Adequat Academy, we're providing the best sports experience, but we're also putting great emphasis on the academic experience. And when they're done with our program, we guarantee them a job. That's what makes us different.
You're too much talking about Tony Parker. Let me ask you one question about Tony Parker. You watched Tony Parker game, and he played fantastically with San Antonio Spurs and lots, and for France team as well. So how did you rate Tony Parker game?
Tony Parker was an excellent player. What can you say about a guy who basically did everything he needed to do? He worked hard, got the opportunity to go to the U.S., play in the NBA. He's a 4-time NBA champion. He's an NBA Finals MVP. There's not more you need to say, but the real important aspect of why Tony and I are working together is because of his heart. Tony Parker has a big heart, and he wants to give back to kids who are less fortunate, and not just in basketball, but in education. And you have to give him credit. He's running an academy, and it's the only academy that I know that guarantees the students a job when they graduate.
So you played with lots of legendary players, and if you talk about today's basketball, can you name few basketball player who are the amongst top 5 player?
Oh, there's a lot. I don't get into those games about who's the greatest of all time. I had an interview earlier today where I was asked that question. Look, David Rivers is the greatest of all time at the end of the day. There are so many great players. You look at Bill Russell. You look at Michael Jordan. You look at Kobe. You look at LeBron. I played with Magic Johnson. I played with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I played with James Worthy. I call those guys the real legends of basketball. At the end of the day, it's era. Who's doing great 10 years from now? That's what you look at. You look at the impact that they've had on the game, but more importantly, you look at the impact that they've had on community, not just their local community, the global community. So when you think about it from that perspective, you could name 10 players every day. That's what's important. Competition-wise, I'm a former player. You want to talk competition, I'm going to put my name out there because I believe in what I've done. I believe in my body of work. Playing with the Lakers, winning conference championships, coming to Europe, playing with every team, and winning championships with every team I've ever played for. So what do you want to measure?
Talking about current 5 players, if you want to rank top 5 players, who all are and why they are in your best of 5?
Well, you got Kawhi, you got LeBron, you got KD. Who else you have? You got Russell Westbrook.
What about Ricky Rubio?
Ricky Rubio? He's a good player. He's a very good player. But he wouldn't be in my top 5, not yet. And Ricky, I love you. But
You
Well, you got to go with Anthony Davis. He would be a respectful top 5 player. And most players wouldn't probably say Green from the Warriors, but Draymond Green, the way he plays, the way he impacts the game, you got to give guys like him consideration. James Harden, you got to give him consideration. At the end of the day, you didn't hear me mention Steph Curry. Come on. I mean, the dialogue would be endless, but all those guys are worthy of, the respect that they justly deserve.
So this was David Rivers, who spoke his heart out and says that there is a lot of talent in Indian basketball players and India can be a good market for the NBA. That's all for now. Stay tuned for more updates.